Thank you, Chairman Hoven, for calling a legislative committee today to consider S-943, S-1223, and S-1285. As was earlier said, Senator Udall was unable to attend this afternoon, and he graciously offered me this opportunity to preside in his absence. And so I want to thank first all the witnesses for traveling so far today to present your important testimony. We know that comes at some cost to your organizations and your tribes, and we always appreciate when we can hear something other than Beltway speak here in the United States Congress. First off, Senate 943 was introduced by my colleague, Senator Heitkamp, me. These are remarks written by my friend Tom Udall, alongside Senators Langford and Daines, that would help ensure that Johnson O'Malley program, which is so critical, would serve all Native children. The Johnson O'Malley program is designed by parent committees and grantees to suit local individual needs of Native students. It plays a critical role in supporting educational needs of Indian students by making sure Native students have school supplies, culturally based extracurricular opportunities, academic tutoring, and other critical tools to ensure a comprehensive learning environment. I look forward to this committee working together to support programs like Johnson O'Malley that provide all Native students with resources and opportunities so they have the same chance at quality education as other students. We owe Indian country nothing less, and we owe our Native youth nothing less. To that end, we need to work openly and directly with Native communities to reconcile available data and develop new eligibility student count structures. The two remaining bills that are subject to this hearing, S-1223 and S-1285, are non-controversial. They're introduced by our friend and our colleague, Senator Merkley. These bills tie together two important topics: tribal sovereignty and economic development. 1223 would repeal Klamath Tribal Judgment Fund Act. It's a remnant of the termination era that today limits the tribe's ability to direct how its own funds are actually spent. 1228 would allow 5 tribes in Oregon to have more control over land they own. This legislation will potentially free up much-needed private capital for investment back in those tribal communities. Together, these bills give the tribe more autonomy over their own internal tribal affairs, and I look forward, meaning Tom, but I do too, look forward to working with Senator Merkley to mark up these bills and move them forward for our consideration. Again, thank you to all the witnesses today, and I look forward to hearing the testimony. Mr. Chairman, for the record, I'd like to introduce Heidi's opening statement, especially as it relates to Johnson O'Malley.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I just want to thank my co-sponsors, Senator Langford and Senator Daines. This is Senator Langford and I work together a lot on government accountability, and this is a program where it drives us crazy. We can't get a count. And so we need to fix this problem. I want to also ask that part of the record include National Congress of American Indians in support of our bill, National Indian Education Association's letter in support of our bill, the Tribal Education Department National Assembly support of our bill, the North Dakota United Tribes of North Dakota letter in support of our bill, North Dakota Department of Public Instruction, as Chairman Hoven has said, and the Muskogee Creek Nation's letter in support of the Johnson O'Malley bill that's being introduced and heard today.
And the Senate Redhead Caucus.
Thank you. That's our deal. With that, Mr. Chairman, I thank you for calling this hearing, and I thank again the witnesses.
Senator Heitkamp.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Dearman, I know you know, frequently the person who's sitting in the chair is representing years and years and years of problems, programmatic problems. And so it's really hard to get a level of accountability on this side because it seems to us to be unfair to put this back on you. But can you tell me, in your judgment, what is the percentage high school graduation rate of Native American children?
At this time, Senator Heitkamp, I really don't have that information, but I can tell you we're working hard to get that because BIE needs to be a data-driven decision-making organization based on our student data.
And what's the average adverse childhood experience of Native American children? We don't know, do we?
Not right.
We don't know. We haven't calibrated exact numbers on childhood trauma and what that experience looks like for Native children, right?
We have started looking at our data with that, and again, really looking at our system of where this data has been recorded, if it has been recorded, but we're starting to address it.
What's the rate of asthma and respiratory problems because of environmental conditions, including black mold, in Native American students' homes?
We don't have that data.
What's the rate of incarceration of Native American students, either in juvenile detention facilities, in federal facilities, if in fact the activity was undertaken, or in state facilities?
Senator Heitkamp would love to work with you in priorities and things that you feel like we need to be looking at as well.
It's really just, I want to just make a point about Senator Franken's comments, because we began this process in our caucus because our frustration is we hear the concerns and we hear the problems, and I'm not suggesting that you're not sympathetic or even appalled by what we know instinctively, but not statistically, about the conditions of Native American students in this country. But it is extraordinarily hard without data to drive any kind of resource allocation or resource decision-making or innovation. And as a result, we end up with this incredible, lack of coordination and lack of real basic strategy on changing outcomes. It's the reason why Senator Murkowski and I introduced the Commission on the Status of Native American Children. We're in the process of trying to get that commission established. It's been funded. It's just a matter of getting them up and working. But we need your help in these counts, and we can't take we're trying. We can't take that excuse anymore. We've got to know what they are, because I think that eventually when we come down with true data, we in this country should be ashamed of the conditions that we've allowed Native American students to be in their physical plant, their educational attainment, their vocabulary when they come in, the lack of support, the lack of technology. It is all there, but yet we expect different outcomes. And we aren't going to get that if we don't know what the count is and what we need to do. And it's not just failure in Indian schools. This is failure in schools in Grand Forks, North Dakota, Fargo, North Dakota, Minot, North Dakota, Bismarck, North Dakota. You'll see higher rates of Title I students that are Native American students in those schools, right? You'd agree, right? I mean, the Commission on Civil Rights, I think, in the 90s did an actual report that looked at overrepresentation of Native American students in special education programs. So there is an urgency to this because we need data and we need this count, and we cannot let this opportunity pass. We've decided to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, press the reset button, and start counting, and start working with Ms. Mann to make sure that you get the count and make sure she's getting the resources. Can't get resources without knowing where to deploy them and where the count is. And so this may seem like a bean counting technical bill, but it's a foundational piece for change for Native American students. And we're committed here on this committee, and we're committed to expanding our knowledge among our colleagues to continue to build out more support. But we need the institutions at the level of administration to work with us to get those numbers. And so I want to thank you for coming and just letting me vent a little bit about, where these problems are, and just know I'm not letting go of this. I don't think James is going to let go. I don't think Steve's going to. We're not going to let go of this. We're going to be a dog with a bone. And there's going to be accountability. And eventually we're going to have to call out people when they aren't performing. So good luck. Let us know. Thank you for your support of the legislation. We look forward to looking. I think the invitation that Senator Langford just gave both of you to rethink, is this good enough? Is there more? We think, we're committed to working to get this over the to the other side. We've got great partnerships on the other side. We should have been able to do it last Congress. We didn't. We're going to get it done this Congress. But it better be right. And it better be complied with. And we better have answers in 2 years on how many Native American students there are and what is the educational challenges of those students. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.